Preeya, I'm making a Spanish beef stew, which has got lots of flavour, and I'm going to add some Mexican spices because I've spent a lot of time in Mexico, a lot of Spanish food there, and the two go together really, really well. Now, to start off with, I've got a pan here that's on and nice and hot already, and I'm going to add some extra virgin olive oil. Now, normally I would add some vegetables here, but I'm not. I'm going to add some chilies. I've got some beautiful dried chilies here.
Yes.
And what I start with is toasting the chili in the oil, just nice and gently. A little bit of heat there. You don't want to burn them because that ruins the chili. Whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to get you busy with the beef.
Okay.
Smoked paprika on this beautiful sirloin beef that's been cut nice and thin, and I'll show you what it looks like. Nice and thin like this, so I know it's going to cook really quickly. I know it's really tender, so this won't be a long dish at all to cook.
Okay.
Nice, like little worms, aren't they?
Like little worms,
There we
indeed.
go. And in goes some cumin as well, a little
Nice.
teaspoon of that. Now, can you add some salt? Or I'll add the salt.
Yes.
I'll get you to add the pepper.
Can do.
And some extra virgin olive oil. And I want you to mix it around so those spices get all around and inside the beef. You like that?
I do. Nice flavours. I like it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, the chilies are toasting off beautifully. And as I said, you don't want to overcook them or burn them. So if you're going to put the chilies in, a little tip is to have your veggies cut already on hand to go. I'll just add some onions, red onions, I call them Spanish onions, and some celery that's already diced. And that's just starting to sizzle up nicely. So we've got the flavour of the chili already in there. And the vegetables to start it off. A little pinch of salt goes in there, and this will start sealing off beautifully. You liking this
Yes,
already?
I am. Lovely.
Lots of flavour here.
Lots of flavour. I've never really done this with the dried chilies before, so this is an interesting technique I've not seen.
Another way of using dried chili is to soak it in water beforehand.
Yep.
And then it's a lot softer and easier to use. You can use the water as well.
Yes.
If you don't have any stock, you can use some of that water as well.
Yes.
All right, some chilli goes in there, fresh chilli. I've also got some ginger, and I'm just going to cut the ginger nice and thin like this, and then cut it through in strips so that the flavour goes all the way through it. Dried ginger is also nice to use as well as a spice, and you can mix that in with the beef. Can you smell all the ingredients in here?
I can feel the chilli in the air, Richo.
Yeah. If you imagine if you burnt it, it would just, your eyes would be popping, wouldn't they?
You're very nervous about this chilli burning. I think we've got the message loud and clear.
Oh, I think so.
You're very nervous about it.
I am, because maybe I might have burnt it or
I think so.
been around someone burning it, so it's not a nice thing at all. Now, the garlic I'm chopping nice and coarse like this. In that goes. And this is going to sweat down nice and gently so everything comes together. And great, I'll take the beef.
Beautiful.
And you've got some tomatoes there, fresh tomatoes. Chop them up nice and fine. They don't have to be too fine at all because they're going to cook down to be part of the sauce.
Lovely.
Oh, I'm loving this. I could stop right here, but I'm not going to. I'm going to keep on going with this one. Now, you'll notice this little white bowl here, Preeya. This is the beef fat that I took off that beef and I cut it up because it's got such great flavour and moisture to it. And the beef that's in the bowl here is really, really lean. So we want to add that flavour. We want to use up every part of the animal that we possibly can. So this fat will also add a lot of flavour to what I'm cooking.
Okay.
And make it delicious. And by adding the fat at the start, we're going to render that fat down so we get that real beefy, tallow sort of flavour. Oh, look at that.
So I'm thinking, Richard, I would probably leave that out because you've got the really nice lean meat here, so that is adding quite a bit of fat.
Oh, yes, that's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you're saying flavour, but you could potentially leave that portion out of it.
You could potentially leave it, but why would you when it adds so much goodness and flavour? And that's what it's all about. You're the doctor, you're the healthy one. I'm the evil one.
He's the tasty one, but I can be tasty too.
You can be tasty,
I can be.
But I'm all about taste. I'll just stir this around to separate all of that beef so it gets all the heat and sears off nicely. So all the juices stay in the meat where it belongs.
Okay.
Now this is coming on nicely,
That
isn't
looks
it?
beautiful. I love that little medley in that pan. Those
does.
chilies get me excited.
Now this is sweating up beautifully now. And at this stage here, I'm going to put the beef straight into the pan here so we can get it all going together. So in it goes, and all the oil, all the juices, those tiny little pieces of beef fat will actually disappear. They'll become so small you won't even know they're there.
But they're still in your body, so I'd say if you're trying to work on your fat intake or cholesterol, I would leave them out.
Really? I wouldn't.
I know, Richo. We disagree. We agree to disagree is the term, I believe.
Fat is flavour, fat is enjoyment, fat is love, fat is all the wonderful things that we love eating with our beef. In go the capsicums, in go the tomatoes.
Okay.
This is where you're getting lots of fresh flavours.
Keep up, Preeya.
You're loving this, aren't you?
I am. I'm loving it. But gosh, you've got me under the pump today, Richard. Here we go.
You're cutting really, really well. I'm enjoying this, watching you sweat it out on the knife. In goes everything. And you're smelling a lot of flavour here. And you'll also notice that with that little bit of fat that I put in there, there's also a lot of vegetables here.
Yes.
As you can see, I've added lots and lots of veggies in here and lots of meat and a little bit of fat to make it tasty. If you can pass me that tomato over there while you're gasping for air at my comments. In goes some chopped tomatoes. I've got some stock over there as well, which is the liquid. What we want this to do is to braise nice and gently on the stove top, and I add just as much stock to cover the top of this. Now, as all of these vegetables and the meat cooks down slowly, it'll start to become tender and it'll start to become rich and flavoursome and a nice thick stew. That's what we're looking for. And by the time this is cooked, which will take about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the meat, if the meat comes apart really easily, you know it's cooked. But if it's really tough, keep it in there, simmering away for another 15 to 20 minutes before you try it. Now, by the time this is cooked, we'll have all this cleaned up and we'll have those herbs cut to mix through it. Okay, in goes some chopped basil, parsley, and as they say in Spanish, cilantro.
Oh, yes, coriander.
Coriander.
Yes.
In North America, they call it cilantro or cilantro, and it adds so much flavour. It's beautiful. A little squeeze of lime in here as well if you want.
I'm so excited to try this, Richard. I've seen all those chilies go in, those flavours. It looks beautiful.
Oh, look at this. And you can see it's thickened up beautifully. Lots of veggies in here and the meat is standing out. Another thing that I like about it is it's got a really nice shine to it as well.
Yes.
Now, you could eat this with some rice and beans or grab some tacos or tortillas.
Yes.
It'd be a fantastic little mix.
Yes, it would. You could put some extra veggies on top, lettuce, tomato, even more kind of rainbows.
Take it easy. Just the rice and beans and tortillas would be great.
Beautiful.
And maybe some more vegetables on there. Or a salad.
Here we go. I'm going to use a spoon, Richard, because I'm very excited by this sauce.
Look at the meat. I'm going for the meat because I want to make sure that it's cooked all the way through. Like it's not going to be cooked beautifully, but...
That is beautiful. Goodness me, it packs a real flavour punch. Love that heat coming through with the chilli.
And the fresh herbs at the end.
Love it. And I think looking at this, I would do this and add some extra rainbows, seriously, and do tacos, because that's a beautiful, beautiful dish.
Thank you.